after going into class, this is my first this is my first philosophy class in general. I fucking love the class because it's just an hour and 20 minutes of everything like we basically talk about.
Yeah.
So it's like what I do like in my spare time anyway for a class, and it's so great. And like thinking in abstracts, but yeah, dude, like when we're like only in Descartes right now, and Descartes is like the beginning, but just all the implications and shit that have been coming from Descartes and all this sort of stuff.
Oh, that's grim.
Once you start thinking of abstracts, like Descartes was an incredibly smart person, but he got to the point where he was so like into his beliefs that he kind of lost some like
Some part of himself.
Yeah, like
Lost
the
touch
human
with
part.
himself. Yeah.
So like while he was incredibly human in that he was trying to understand like what being a human or like what even existing is, like it got to the point where he believed, okay, well, like humans like are driven on instincts and on like mechanistic needs. So he said like humans are like robots basically, but
Yeah.
with with like a what's the word? With like a will. We're like robots with a will.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
yeah, but he believed animals are just robots. They can't think beyond instincts to the point where he would like go around preaching his beliefs and like taking animals and like chopping off their arms and watching them run around and like writhe in pain because and he's like, oh, like look at this machine, like he thinks he's in pain, but he's not actually, you know, feeling. It's like ridiculous. It's like once you go into the abstract, it is so incredibly difficult, if even possible at all, to like go back to seeing everything as it seems.
Yeah, man. I mean, it's totally.
Yeah.
Like there was like a part where like there was a point where I got where I was like I got to the point in my head where like I died because I realized I wasn't actually like, oh, I don't even know how to describe it. It was like I died in my head.
Yeah, I mean,
Like,
I don't think you really can describe it. That's like because you don't really speak these
because
things.
like I realized an aspect of like the way people think, just the way everybody thinks and how we're wired and just and like the kind of like what separates machine from man and stuff. And I was like, I'm just like a machine anyway. And I'm like, am I even like alive? Like, in a way, like am I even alive in the sense that we know it? Or I don't know. It was weird. I'm not describing it very well. It's a very abstract thing, and it's like
Exactly, you know, you
I've
don't
taken
really.
like I think over like my whole life I've gotten just better at like being able to speak what's on my mind because because it's always abstract. Like I've always felt like this way too, but it's just abstract. It's like um, like I feel like I didn't think that like instinct played a big part in our lives as much, but then I realized like when I was little, I had a very clear primal understanding of things, and I feel like I've tapped into that in a way as I've gotten older. So like when I was very young, it's like I got it, and then it's like, and then I got used to the world and the way the world is, and then like by realizing those things on an intellectual level, I've in a way part of myself reverted back into a primal way of thinking.
Hmm.
Not necessarily primal, but like purist, like without the illusion of society.
So I mean, it seems like a good thing.
No, it's horrible because you can't. Because I don't know, like you lose. I've like lost a lot of my humanity, not in an emo way, but it's just like you can't.
Yeah, but I mean, I know that. I mean, I feel like getting or like seeing past society is really the way to view things.
Definitely.
But I guess I know that comes with repercussions.
Yeah. Well, it's how you deal with it, and it's like I haven't dealt with that knowledge very well, so
Hmm.
it comes off depressing.
You're like, rather than like seeing it as a skill and like being able to take that view and say, okay, well, let's look at it from this angle, is that you look at everything from that angle, and then once that happens, and I guess you don't really want to go back, and
I
then
will
you're just
say
kind of stuck.
I have gained this kind of calm, and in a weird way, it's like I don't want to sound pretentious, but it's like enlightenment. Like it's
Yeah.
like this kind of calm. Like I almost got into a car accident recently, and it was like whatever. It wasn't like whatever, but it was like just a calm, and I was like, whoa, okay,
Yeah.
that's
Yeah. That's kind of the way it should be, to be honest. I feel like rage anywhere near a road is kind of terrible on all fronts.
what?
So I feel like rage anywhere near a road is pretty much terrible on all fronts, even if it's.
No, I don't even mean like I was calm. Like I didn't feel any fear. I didn't feel like holy shit. I didn't like
Yeah.
freak out. It was like I realize what's happening, and I'm calm. And I feel like that's kind of cool. Like,
Yeah.
yeah. Uh, I wasn't driving or anything.
Yeah. Yeah.
I don't know. But um, yeah, I have like a weird way of looking at death now. It's almost like I'm detached from it. It's like, well, like I'm not really gonna be part of that. So, well, it's like because like I'm dead. Like I have nothing to do with that. You know what I mean? I don't have to worry about being dead because I won't know how it feels to be dead because I'll just be
That's
dead.
true. Exactly. Exactly. That's. I mean.
I don't even want to think about it though because it still freaks me out.
Okay. Okay. Let's get away from
No,
that.
but
Yeah, we went from happy to kind of mellow really quick. So. uh,
I don't know. Yeah, it's just like horrible. Like it's just like being alive is just kind of like it's intense. Like we're
yeah.
floating. I heard some shit like in space. Like the okay, like the Earth. It took the Earth to form. Like the length of what they think the universe is. It took about like 1/3 of that time of like the whole universe. So that's like a tremendous amount of time to have the
Yeah.
Earth. So like with that taken into account and the sheer perfectness of our planet and its position in the stars, we could quite like people go, well, we may not, oh, it's ignorant to say that there's no intelligent life out there. But then you can kind of stop and go, but you know what? In the scheme of things, the Earth is fairly young in
Yeah.
like the cosmic scale, and so is the universe. If you look at it like that, it only took 1/3 of the time for that to be formed. Then we could possibly be like the very first organic, intelligent life in the universe, and that's a tremendous responsibility. Being the only things
Yeah.
alive in the fucking universe.
Yeah.
What
It's
does that
almost
mean?
as if we have like a duty to be the best that
Yeah,
we can be because it's possible we're the only products of everything that has happened like since the beginning of time.
yeah,
If
yeah,
that's even like a thing. If the beginning of time is a thing. Whatever.
yeah.
Uh.
And then what a tremendous
Yeah.
responsibility.
Yeah, I don't think many people look at it like that. When they're like going around raping women and
Yeah. Right
yeah,
now we're like teenagers, like on a cosmic level, or like adolescents. Like we're just like fighting in the schoolyard,
yeah,
and we don't really know shit. But we're strapped on and we're flying through space at 1,000 miles an I don't know how a billion, I don't know, a million miles an hour.
mm-hmm.
God damn it! And then if you want to get really imagine this, bro. If you want to get really stoner thoughts about it, if they say that it could get to the point where technology to get to the point where we are like they could create a program that would run out all of existence or the time span of the universe in a program, like every event that ever happened.
Mm-hmm.
And that kind of processing power could program in me and you and the world and everything else. And if we were in that program, we would not be able to distinguish the difference between reality and this program. And that sounds like stoner talk, but think about the position in time that we are. It's amazing that we're alive in this time period. There was a guy I remember his father was like he was able to see the Wright brothers come up with the plane and a man go to the moon. And that kind of progress in that short amount of time is so insane compared to actual history because
Yeah,
there's not nothing progresses that fast.
yeah,
And we're in a position where we're like at the fucking front of the roller coaster.
yeah. The power, like intelligence, is like the next or newest power of the universe.
Yeah.
Is a driving force. So like intelligence is a driving force for evolution.
Yeah, and we're like the forefront of like evolving as human beings. Like we're like starting to stop become animals. And
Yeah,
what is in the future of humanity is like weird as shit. And then you start thinking about like immortality and like how that could be harnessed.
yeah,
And but then it's like where do you draw the line? Like if people are immortal, like what stops them from like would it be like a capitalist society where like like I don't know about capitalists, but like where you need to pay your bills or you're not going to be able to live any longer.
mm-hmm.
And if that's the case, like what the fuck? And once you take like in philosophy, in my opinion, like death is the ultimate equation. It's like the answer to everything. Like once you realize like once you put in the death equation, everything becomes really simple and like really not simple, but like you're able to understand things a lot simpler. It's like all these variables, and it's like, oh well, just you put in the death variable, and it's like, oh well, that's why. Like steps and you know, it's interesting to think about, but it's also I feel like it damages like your soul.
Eh, I mean,
If you don't, I guess if you don't deal with it in the right way.
yeah. I mean, I just more so think of it all as hypotheticals that I could possibly apply to real life situations.
Yeah,
So, and I'm sure that like some of them, well, yeah. I mean, I'm sure a lot of this is like legit, but there's not really any way you can differentiate from, I guess, legit philosophy.
legit philosophy.
Yeah, like if that's even like a thing, and like existential philosophy, which is just once you get to existential philosophy, like all that is
What does that even mean?
like like states of being and all that biz. Like once you kind of transcend, normal human thought processes and start thinking about like why we're here and like the way things are, like Descartes was all about Cartesian duality, and that um, everything is like, I'm not gonna say math twos, but like everything exists in like two different ways. So there's the idea of
Yep.
something and the actual projection of something in space.
Yeah.
So
That's
like
like a big philosophy of mine. Like
yeah,
I've said that before.
yeah, that's like the very beginning of all philosophy is that belief. And
That's why my hair is blue and red. It's like the duality.
yeah. And he was a bit off every now and again because he started throwing in, like, at that time, there's the whole Catholic Church thing. So
What do you mean? Like was
he
he
mixed in
religious?
God, yeah,
Yeah.
at the time. So like,
That's the thing with that. Like you look at Les Miserables, like if you ever listen to the play or you've whatever, um, it's really really grim, really really grim.
I
But
made Les Miserables.
sure, but like there's this overtone of religion. But if you take religion out of the equation, it's just so fucking dark
Hmm.
because it's like wow, she got she got a STD and she's dying and she's dying and she's crying about how her life used to be great and now it's not that's bad, but it's just like how everybody lives. Like you're there was an apex in your life and then after that it's just like yeah, this is the way things are going now.
Yeah.
And it just really, and then she dies and it's like oh god.
Yep. Just
But it's like religion. It's like, well, yeah, she's got all that, but if you take
if
religion out of
you
it, it's
if you
like,
take the
oh
idea
my
that
god,
she's not going somewhere better, then it's like, well, that's just tragic.
yeah,
Yeah, and he was like yeah, although he believed in God, he still questioned everything. Like his first, he had to like he didn't know. He basically questioned if anything was real, including himself. And
huh.
so yeah, he literally, this was just some dude that was really smart and just said, you know what, I don't know what's real and what's not. So I'm gonna like lock myself in my house by myself and then just like write a giant monologue about a monologue of me trying to prove that everything around us is actually everything around us. And so like to start with that, he had to start with God. Um so to prove that God was real, he said that God is real. I guess in the beginning he said well, yeah, no, yeah. He said, so God is real because us as humans have the idea of um of imperfection. We know what imperfection is, but because we know what imperfection is, we also know what the opposite is, which is of course perfection. And because the idea of a perfect being exists in our mind, it couldn't have just come from nowhere. We just have to know what a perfect being is. And so because the idea of a God, a perfect being that created all of us exists, God exists. And you could even say that, today. Like, I actually watched an anime not too long ago that was it's a '90s anime. It's really good. There's so much underlying that, but a lot of that is about that, and that like there's like a person can exist, and the idea of a person can exist, and they're entirely different things. So yeah, he proved, quote unquote, that God exists because a perfect being has to exist because we have the idea of an imperfect being in our mind, and the inverse must be logical and possible if we know what something that's not perfect is. We couldn't know what isn't perfect if we didn't know what is perfect. It's all crazy stuff. And
Yeah,
so then, after that, he proved that the idea of a perfect God is a God that would not deceive. Um, And Descartes was also the person that came up with was it cogito ergo sum, which is I think therefore I am.
Yeah.
And so because he feels as though he thinks, he knows that he is an existence somewhere. He doesn't know if his physical body is real or that's just how his mind perceives reality.
Yeah.
Um,
Yeah.
yeah. It's a whole it's a whole it's a
It's
whole thing.
intense.
Yeah, no, that dude said, "Okay, I don't know what up or down or fish is anymore. So I'm just gonna go and try to solve everything in the world right now." I'll just
Yeah.
yeah, it's really crazy stuff.
I had those kind of thoughts, like, if I figure this shit out, maybe I could share it. But it gets to the point where it's like, I don't want to share it.
Because then you just sound fucking insane.
Yeah.
But if someone's open-minded enough and really thinks about it, a lot of people aren't willing to accept the abstract,
Yeah.
and just take fixed value for everything. But once you look like among or beyond things, it's kind of mind-blowing stuff. Not even kind of, it is mind-blowing stuff. It's just
I had the notion, like, I never believed, but I thought that, in a way, this was maybe when I was like 16, or I was like, well, reality is subjective, so
and it totally is. That was Descartes' thing too.
yeah. But that's like the cool thing. I feel like smart because like I come up with my own shit, and then like people have already come up with it.
Yeah.
And it's like famous. So I'm like, oh, cool. But oh, I forgot what I was gonna say. God damn it. Oh no. So like reality is subjective. So religion, even though I don't believe in it, to somebody in a way could be made into reality based off of a belief.
Exactly. It's their truth,
That's
and
why
you
I like the
can't
book
take their
American
truth away.
Gods. Oh yeah, go ahead. I've been
Well,
reading that, by the way.
that was it.
Yeah.
So you're rereading that?
Yeah, well, I'm actually not reading it. I'm listening to the audiobook, which is a full
Cool.
cast.
Whoa, nice.
Yeah, it's amazing. And they even have Neil Gaiman like doing
Narration?
not full narration, but he's doing like
Intermissions?
they're not intermission. I guess you'd call them that. They're like little side stories
Okay.
to like break up the initial story. It is a little bit like an intermission.
All right.
It's pretty amazing. But that's but I don't believe that.
You don't believe the whole individual reality thing?
I do, but I don't. It does not. It won't. It does not apply to me. I don't mean like that. I meant that like I can't think that way because I don't really believe it. So I can't really believe in that.
Interesting. I mean, I can't really see how that couldn't be true from my standpoint, though.
To me, it's an easy like paradoxical out that I find does not actually have truth. Because there is a reality.
Yeah, but I mean, when it comes to things that are like personal beliefs, then that is without a doubt a reality. I can tell you that I had probably told you a few times that Bayonetta is my favorite game of all time. I probably said at one point that Bayonetta is the best game of all time, which is ridiculous. But I feel like one day in my ridiculous crazed hype of like being excited for Bayonetta 2 that I probably said Bayonetta is the best game of all time, or something like that. And even though, that may absolutely not be true, it's still true in the sense that it's true to me. And because you can't take my truth away from me, it exists. Like, unless you change my truth.
Yeah, but but even by realizing even what you just said, it diminishes what your own belief.
Well, that was just an example. If I was to take something that I actually believed in right now, then yeah, you couldn't really take it away from me, and it would be true. Even if it's like, yeah, it would be true because facts themselves, like we haven't actually, according to many fields of like study, we haven't actually proven anything ever in life ever. We've never proven anything. We've just garnered support because a fact isn't like something that's 100% true. A fact is just an idea that has so much garnered support for it that we accept it as true for the most part
Yeah,
until proven, wrong.
it's like science.
Yeah, exactly. Science and psychology and philosophy are all the same in that field. Ethics as well. Nothing's proven, and we haven't figured anything out. We've just garnered enough support so that we just stick with this until we find something new. Um, so if you believe one thing and I believe another, then we like both of those beliefs are their own individual ideas because of the people we are, and we can't really take them away from each other. We can alter them if we change each other's opinions. Um, then they may be like, and that even then they won't actually be the same idea, but they'll be based upon the same fact, quote unquote. You know,
Yeah.
like it's
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I feel like it's more simpler than that. I think a lot of this shit is more simpler than that, and I think that that's kind of just this like paradoxical thinking. It's not natural, if you know what I mean.
I mean,
I think reality is very cut and dry, and we like to fill it with things, if you know what I mean.
I can see what you're saying, but
Yeah.
I don't really think like yeah, like what part, like the whole idea thing or the whole thing that we haven't proven anything.
What did I say? Because I was thinking about something else when you were saying. What did I say?
That that's like a cut and
Oh
dry
yeah,
or
yeah.
no,
Because it's like um I don't know. It's a feeling. It's like a primal thing.
I kind of know what you're saying in that every like it's
It's like a. It's
it's
like a.
something you can't really disprove, but can't really like I guess
I feel like the only reason why that way
prove either.
that like way of thinking was created was because of just who like the notion of who we are. Like if like we're just animals, but like then we start thinking about us being animals and like, well, how do the animals think and what's their reality and that natural reality instead of and even then like they think as well. Like I won't say that my dog is a machine. I know what that guy was talking about. Um, and completely understand that, but like, um, they don't have as adaptive thinking, but they are very much in themselves and like can learn
Hmm.
and they're very. But the thing about animals is like, um, an animal will like chew its leg off to get out of a trap, but a human being will just stay there and like fucking die.
Yeah.
And that's because we've made excuses and the animals haven't.
Let me throw this at you. Um, if both of our differing ideas cannot exist simultaneously, um, even if they are abstract, if our differing abstract thoughts, can't exist simultaneously, like you say, I guess, kind of, then what about that whole notion that reality is subjective?
Because it because
Because if I perceive reality different from you, that doesn't make reality any less real, or my reality any less real than yours.
no, and it would go into again this the paradoxical thinking, and it's so hard to think about, really.
Yeah, because those are basically the same things. Um,
I feel
I
like
guess in
we've
the
created our
essence.
own world. No, that's what. No, I
Yeah.
mean that like in a pure way. Like we've created this world, and I don't mean we've created the earth underneath our feet. I mean that we have created our society,
Well,
and
absolutely.
not well.
Well, maybe
What?
I got that wrong. I thought you were talking about us, like, right, me and you. Never mind.
Oh no, I mean just as like a whole, like as human beings. Um, Oh, I fucking forgot my point.
That's probably my fault.
No, it wasn't. My head goes like my head is like all over the place. Like usually I can't sleep because I just can't stop thinking about things.
Yeah.
Or I go to bed thinking about things and just constantly. But oh fucking poop. Um,
We created our own world.
yeah, yeah. I feel like we created like not our society, but our world to make an understanding of things. Like we were here, and it's like what the fuck. What the fuck? Oh, what the fuck is that? And it's like lightning. It's like, oh god! And then after a million years, a million. After like a long time in society, we describe, well, that's Zeus. Just
Mm-hmm.
like doing things because we like to
We
describe
we make connections.
yeah, and we need to somehow describe the unknown. We need
Yeah.
to somehow label it and make it more human.
It's one of the bases of psychology in general.
But for us to build that up, like for us to build that up is what we perceive as our world.
Yeah.
And the animals do it too, and we do it. But I think reality is just blank. I think all everything that is paradoxical thinking and that being put into account is just us filling the canvas. It's not actually real. It's just us like filling in the blanks because we need to explain it. Like what I'm saying is embrace like the void. Yeah. Yeah, and then if you have that way of thinking, well then everything else just falls into place.
Hmm.
It's like the key to a puzzle.
By the void, do you mean death or nothingness?
Nothingness and death. It's all just the null. All reality is what we've created. In a way, we're our own gods, I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, that's what I believe, though.
I can't contest it on the spot.
It's
I
a
can. There's just no way. I'd have to think about that. Like. Yeah, I'd have to think about that. That's
that's like something that I've come up. That's like a conclusion I've come up over years.
Yeah. There's no way I could just think about that for a few minutes and try to give you a response.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah. It's.
no, it's Jesus. But who? But I don't know shit. I don't go to college. I have.
Fuck
I
it.
have
No, fuck that.
barely have
Fuck
a
all that
ninth grade
shit.
education.
Fuck all of that. You don't need like a ninth grade education to like start thinking about the basis of reality. I guess. Yeah.
It
I mean,
helps though.
it helps,
It
but
helps
like,
to it helps to not have your spelling all fucked up because you're trying to explain
who
somebody.
the fuck needs to spell when you got words? If you can speak
Verbs.
properly, then I
You
mean,
can barely speak properly.
do you think so?
No, I'm just
Yeah, like come the fuck on. uh,
man.
yeah. Did you tell him that show?
Yeah, I did.
Yeah, like an hour and a half ago or something.
Yeah, I love these conversations. Like, we get really into it.